5 years or so ago, there was a virus that everybody was talking about. Some of you maybe even got the virus. And during that time, new policies came out, new rules came out. Wear this cloth mask over your face, stand 6 feet apart from each other, take these experimental jabs into your arm. And what was the reason why we should do this? Because the experts said that we should do it. Now, we all remember that. And we all know that it turned out that they either were lying to us or they didn't know what they were talking about, which means they shouldn't be called experts. Either way, we got lied to. Can everybody agree to that? Yes? Okay. That was the expert illusion. That is another logical fallacy we're going to talk about here. This gets often used when discussing something that came from a person who has a position of authority, who does not want to be challenged, and or someone who supports the person in a position of authority. They don't want that argument challenged because they already accepted it, and they don't want anybody challenging the neat idea that they've accepted emotionally in their minds. So accept and follow the policy because experts said so. They're the ones who make the policy, so of course they know what they're talking about. That is a fallacy in and of itself. It's a combination of the appeal to authority and circular reasoning. So the appeal to authority fallacy basically says that when someone has a title, it does not matter what evidence they present. Because they have the title, we should just accept what they said. So you may remember during that virus a few years ago, that somebody said, I'm not taking the jab, or I don't want to wear a mask, or I'm not standing 6 feet apart, or I'm going to go outside anyway. Somebody might question them by saying, well, are you a doctor? I didn't know you had a medical degree. How much time have you spent in medical school? People would say that sarcastically as a way of undermining your argument simply because you're not an expert, which means whatever you say might not be as smart as someone who actually is an expert. But again, you should know from that experience alone that just because someone's an expert does not mean what they're saying is actually the truth, because all of us got lied to our faces. And some people still don't want to believe it even to this day. And this is the idea that authority equals truth. That is not true. Just because someone has authority does not mean what they say is true. And just because someone does not have authority does not mean that they may be wrong. And when someone does have authority, that doesn't mean they shouldn't be questioned. It means they should be questioned. If they are actually an authority, they should have no problem answering your questions. The other thing is the circular reasoning, which is if you're an expert, that must mean what you say is right. And because what you say is right, that's the reason why you're an expert. So it is because it is. That's called circular reasoning. I'm right because I'm an expert, so that means I'm right. And therefore, nobody can challenge anything that I say. And then when you get the mob, the masses of people agreeing with this, then you get people who go against it. They get pushed back against as if they're the crazy people, when actually the crazy ones are the ones who are listening without thinking. So this creates the illusion of credibility that is self-referential credibility. So I'm an expert, so what I say is the truth. And what I say is the truth. Why? Because I'm an expert. Again, self-referential, and dissent becomes hearsay at this time. Again, think back 5 or so years ago when that virus was going around, and if someone dissented against the common knowledge coming from people like the Center for Disease Control, they were the ones who were ostracized as if they were crazy, when it turns out, well, it's a little bit different from that. Text the word power to the number in my bio. You want to learn how to point out fallacies like this. Work on your game.